Sometimes, reading comics can bring up feelings of pure enjoyment, or even move you to tears. Well, this crossover brought me to tears because I had to wash my eyes out with fucking bleach and leave them out to dry after reading The Punisher meeting Eminem. What's up, Doc? I'm Pugs Bunny, and today I would like to subject you to the horror that is Some Shady featuring Frank Castle, written by Fred Van Lente and art by Salvador Larroca, and a story that, well, you'll see. We open with a good look at the companies that brought us this masterpiece of shit to life. Marvel, obviously. XXL, a hip-hop magazine, which makes sense. Shady Records, of course. Goliath Artists, who are connected to Shady Records. Interscope Records, who signed Eminem, and David, who's now a suspect in a murder investigation, but don't worry, he's rich, so I'm sure nothing will really come from that. Will it? And they also signed Playboy Cardi. Aftermath Entertainment, who's a subsidiary of Universal Music Group, who owns Interscope Records, founded by Dr. Dre. So this whole comic is basically Shady's fanfic because Marvel's the only company who isn't directly connected to Eminem. Which kudos to Marshall, because when he was younger he wanted to be a comic book artist, and after you see some of the art he did, you can really see the talent and passion the man has for Marvel. Too bad his one and only feature in comics suck. As far as I know, this is his one and only feature. We officially begin our story with a brief bio of the Punisher and Eminem. On a Sunday in Central Park, Frank Castle's family was killed by a rain of mob bullets. From that day on, Castle was reborn as a relentless vigilante dedicated to one thing: sending evil men to their graves. And Marshall Mathers dropped out of high school to pursue a career in hip-hop. Gaining popularity in freestyle battles, Mathers was able to escape the streets of Detroit and become one of the most talented and controversial MCs on the planet. Holy cow, they couldn't be more different. Marshall Mathers dropped out of high school, compared to, on a Sunday, Frank Castle's family was murdered in Central Park. This couldn't be more of a juxtaposition if they tried, which they did not. My family died, so I swear to kill all criminals. Oh yeah? Well, I freestyled and dropped out of high school. Now I'm a controversial rapper. Which, yes, indeed he is. And take a look at this picture of Marshall. It's an actual picture of him, just with a few lines added and overexposure. I don't know why that bothers me, but if you're gonna put Eminem in a comic, at least draw him instead of Photoshop a picture of him. After the bios, we cut to a rap concert in Detroit wrapping up. Em drops the mic as the crowd chants, Eminem. He throws on a red hoodie, and then he's escorted out by his entourage while he proclaims his lust for coney dogs. But when they get to his pimp and ride, they see the Punisher just standing there, menacingly. The homies pull their guns out, but before they can make a move, the Punisher starts blasting and kills every one of them. This is absolutely bananas once you learn why the Punisher's even here. Eminem pulls his gat and starts firing until he's pulled into an alley by Barracuda, a Punisher villain who debuted in 2006, but was killed off in Punisher Volume number 7. This guy goes way back with them apparently, back to his freestyling days, which let me tell you, Eminem ran with some awful people because once you check the Wikipedia for Barracuda, you'll side-eye the homies M decides to keep around him. Barracuda admits to M that the Punisher's target is actually him, and M was just unlucky enough to be in the way, which gets me wondering why the Punisher decided to take out all of Eminem's friends if they were not even his target. But before Eminem could start rapping about why he's being hunted, the Punisher pulls out an RPG and blows up Barracuda's hot rod. The two gangsters fall back into one of the many abandoned crappy houses of Detroit, and M pokes his head out of a crooked door, trying to lure the Punisher inside. Punisher assures him that he will get the Rockstar back into his jacuzzi before he knows it, but this was a step too far. He may be the lead singer of his band, but he is not a rock star. The Punisher ran up inside and Eminem knocked the Punisher out with his piece, while freestyling, "You don't wanna fuck with Shady, cause Shady will fucking kill you." Get ready for so many corny Eminem references, none of them are funny, but there's a whole lot of them. And what blows my mind is Eminem technically beats the Punisher here. Eminem fired 3 shots into the chest of the Punisher and asked Kuda what was up, but before he could get any answer, Kuda shoots Shady in the chest, telling him he was hired to smoke some whack-ass rapper. which he should have just let the Punisher accidentally kill the guy he's trying to protect, since he was already kind of doing a good job at that. We cut to a few hours later, and Barracuda is singing Eminem's song Mockingbird, showing us that he, along with everyone else in the comic aside from the Punisher, was a fan of M's music. M wakes up chained to the Punisher, proclaiming he always thought this would be one of the songs played at his funeral. He didn't think he'd be around to hear it. Punisher scolds him for shooting the guy trying to protect him. But did you not kill his homies? So I don't know how Eminem was supposed to figure that out, you know? M would call the Punisher out for smoking his crew. The Punisher tells him that they probably had sheets anyways, which means criminal records. What do you mean by that? And it also makes me think that if you have something as minor as like a speeding ticket, the Punisher will hunt you down and gruesomely murder you in cold blood, because you are now a criminal. But Barracuda walks up to the two of them, carrying a sniper rifle and wearing his smallest crop top he could find, possibly even a training bra, while wearing a coat, which feels very contradicting, I'm not gonna lie. Spits, how could you Judas me? We grew up together. Okay, so I'm starting to think Barracuda may have actually been Big O.
But if I kicked you in your chest, pork chops will fall out your asshole. You cats is pussy, soft like wet.
Kuda admits he was hired by the Parent Music Council, which is a group responsible for the parental advisory labels on all the albums you've bought, and the reason why so many songs had like awful radio edits and censors. Eminem called them Bible-thumping bastards, and Barracuda decides to quote, "Go Jimmy Hoffa" on their asses after getting all inspirational on this bitch. He uses his corn-colored teeth to chomp the chains, and as he picks Elm up, he proclaims how he bought up a bunch of Eminem's merch and plans on selling it on eBay after his death. Stupid plan, but he does go on to toss Eminem off the side of the boat, telling him his encore is over. But little did this small-headed villain know, the ice is thicker than it looks. So while Eminem is laying on the ice, Barracuda would pull a sniper out and take aim, but the Punisher punishes the back of Kuda's legs, throwing off a shot. Eminem casually just gets up and walks over to a very oblivious fisherman, who introduces himself as Eminem's biggest fan. He's listening to the Relapse album, which gives credit to that claim. I give respect because that's definitely one of the weaker albums, but I was an edgy emo teen living in a trailer before, and I bopped to Music Box and Insane.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
What is wrong with you?
The Stan offers to do anything for Eminem, and M gives him this really awkward, provocative face. Like, why is bro puckering his lips like this? He's looking at dude like he's gonna ask for help in more ways than one. Back on the boat, Barracuda is beating the Punisher, talking about how he was taught by his mother to kill who he has in his clammy clutches, but since the two have history, he wants to take out of him by inches. What? But M would pull up with a chainsaw that the Stan gave him. Eminem would clash his chainsaw with Barracuda's machete. And finally, Barracuda says something actually funny. "You make a sorry ass Leatherface, Marshall, and I ain't your mom's." That actually got a laugh out of me. That's a legendary line. The machete didn't stand a chance, so the chainsaw came down on the Barracuda's fingers, disarming him, or dishanding him, whichever pun you pick. Then Eminem plunges his chainsaw straight into the torso of Barracuda, sending him off into the water. During the scuffle, the Punisher was able to free himself from the binds with the dropped machete, so when Eminem turns around, the Punisher has two Uzis pointed right at the rapper, forcing him onto the ice. Even though Eminem saved the Punisher, he's still apparently a criminal because he killed Barracuda and tried to kill him. But that's a load of bullcrap because the Punisher's whole resume is killing criminals, which Barracuda was. And Eminem straight up was defending himself, like you, again, killed his whole crew and shot at him with an RPG. So why can we not chalk that up to self-defense? That doesn't matter though. M is forced off the boat and the Punisher shoots the ice around him, leaving him stranded on a floating chunk of ice in the middle of the sea. "Sorry I killed your homies, Marshall." The Punisher proclaims they are even, which they are most definitely not. But he does have enough mercy to leave Eminem with Barracuda's military satellite phone to call someone to come get him. The Punisher sails off to kill the parent company for hiring Barracuda. And as the boat sails away, Elm yells, "Tell him Shady sent ya." ending the worst crossover I've ever read. Punisher had one job: protect Eminem. Let's go through how he did that. He killed his friends, claiming they pulled first and probably had sheets, so kind of, profiling. Shot a fucking rocket at him, left him floating on a chunk of ice in the middle of the sea with just a satellite phone, and worst of all, prevented the rapper from eating some coney dogs in Lafayette. He was trash in this too. He didn't beat Barracuda or Eminem, especially when it came to a gunfight. The only damage he really did was to his own career. I'll never be able to look at the Punisher the same, and I don't know if it's because of his character assassination or the bleach I used on my eyes, but either way, I'm left disappointed. If you survived the stroke or brain damage you succumbed from this story, then leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see a good Punisher crossover, check out my video on the Punisher and Archie. Yeah, that's real, but it's got a really good story and really good art. Thank you for watching. That's all, folks.